Hi, everybody. Welcome in. This is Dr. Laura Ricci. We're here for our de-stress from all the distress. This is a really hot topic and one that I felt really passionate about sharing because we are facing new challenges that none of us really expected to see, and life has changed completely for a lot of us. I am having a little bit of tech challenges with Zoom, so if you want to watch over on Zoom instead of Facebook, you'll see me on Facebook, but you won't see all the slides and all the good stuff over on Zoom. So you want to go over there. And this will be recorded. So if you can't catch it live, you can always catch the recording. I'm so glad to see you guys are hopping on. And that really, I hope that this class serves and helps in a lot of ways because we're just in an interesting time right now. So we're going to kick off. Of course, I like to start with a little medical disclaimer. Again, what we talk about in this class, it's not intended to replace a one-on-one relationship with your qualified healthcare professional. It's really not intended to be medical advice. What this is intended is to be a collection of information from my own personal experience and research, and always work with your doctor or qualified healthcare professional on that. But we are going to jump in. And I share a little bit about my personal journey in the beginning because I want you to know that I'm not a stranger to challenge. So I was actually diagnosed with a really rare cancerous tumor in my 20s and went through 4 surgeries related to that. I went through a lot of major surgeries for hip dysplasia, bigger than hip replacement surgeries, and then was diagnosed with chronic Lyme disease. So I share that because being faced with uncertainty and new challenges is something that I've experienced a lot, more than once. Now, definitely not a global pandemic, but we can learn from those challenges. And I can tell you that it really does help us grow in a lot of ways. And sometimes when we go through those dark nights of the soul, they really can help us and transform us in a lot of ways and change our life. So they can be really powerful. And we know we're in a space now where the world has changed. This outbreak of coronavirus disease 2019, also known as COVID-19, may be stressful for a lot of people. There's a lot of fear and anxiety about a disease that can be overwhelming, and it can cause strong emotions in both adults and children. And coping with stress will make you, the people you care about, and your community stronger. So I'm going to give you some tools for that. And I know things are looking different. This was a picture from my trip to Natural Grocers a couple weeks ago. I'm sure wherever you are that you're seeing this too, that things are different. There are signs not to hoard, to only buy what you need. I was shocked. It gave me chills to see that the produce section was cut in half than what it normally is. And so these are different times that we're in, and I'm sure you're feeling that wherever you are right now. And I wanted to do a little talk about physical distancing versus social distancing. You can see from this picture, this is actually my family doctor. And all the chairs in the waiting room are really spaced out 6 feet in between. So lots of people are talking about social distancing right now, but I would really encourage us to look at it as physical distancing, because social distancing sounds very isolating. And physical distancing is, okay, I can't be right next to you in this moment, but we can still communicate and still be social and still check in on people virtually. So it's just a little bit of a mindset shift in that. We're going to talk about prepare and don't panic. So knowledge and preparation can actually help us reduce feelings of panic. And you can choose only a few resources. This is my recommendation to get your information from during this time. So I'll give you my recommendations and where I'm getting that information from. But this is not a time to have our news on 24/7. That can actually be really stressful. I would recommend you pick just a few resources to get those, to stay updated from, and also just choose a specific time of day that you're going to be getting that information. So say you pick 2 p.m., you're going to go and check those 2 resources and get that information. So we're not inundated with the stats and the numbers and all of that all the time. That can be really stressful. So these are my recommended sources: the CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the WHO, the World Health Organization. I really love Chris Kresser. If you don't follow him on Facebook or over on Instagram, he is in Utah. He is an acupuncturist and very into functional medicine. He's written a lot of really great books and does short, sweet little videos with information. And I find that to be very, very helpful. And I also like following doTERRA's essential oils COVID-19 updates, with Dr. Russell Osguthorpe. So Dr. Osguthorpe is a specialist in pediatric infectious disease. So this is his swim lane, infectious disease. It's a source that I can trust. We know there's a lot of things that we're being inundated with right now. So those are the two guys that I listen to and get my information from, Chris Kresser and Dr. Osguthorpe. And I check those videos. Those are the only two videos that I'm looking at. I'm not watching the news. I'm not being inundated with all that other stuff right now. So masks, this is a discussion. I think it's an interesting discussion. Chris Kresser talked about this, but that Japan actually has had a better outcome with COVID, and that could be because 80% of the population wears masks when they go out. People are not wearing them, and they're under the impression that they don't have to right now. So if you have to go grocery shopping, if you have to be out, you're going to be around people, it's my recommendation that you do go ahead and wear a mask. Now, in the beginning, they weren't talking a lot about this, and I think we only have finite supplies of masks, and those need to go to first responders and people on the front lines and our healthcare workers. But I also think it's important for us to be using masks as well. Anything is better than nothing, in my opinion, on this. And unfortunately, over on Zoom, I can see questions are coming in, but I can't read them. So we'll hold questions until the end. You can definitely type them in, and then I can go back and read and check those there, but I can't actually see them there over on Zoom. But we'll get to your questions. Now, we know N95 masks are the best protection, but even surgical and homemade masks provide some protection. So even if that's a scarf that you pull up over your mouth and nose, even if that is a bandana, a homemade mask, whatever it is, if you have to get out, now we know a lot of us are in isolation and lockdown, it's recommended that we don't, but if you have to go grocery shopping or if you have to get out for emergency, wear a mask. If you're taking care of somebody with COVID-19 as the caretaker, wear a mask. That's my personal thoughts on that. And Chris Kresser is the one who dug around in the research and found that they can be really helpful. Now, here's a video that I thought was really cool of using a bandana and folding it up and taking two little hair ties and attaching them on either side. And then you fold it in, so you've got many layers of the bandana material, and then putting that over your ears to use as a mask. And if you're watching over on Facebook Live, you can hop over on Zoom and you can see all of the slides there. But I thought that was a great tip. Somebody had shared that on Facebook, and I thought, man, that's brilliant. So again, my rule of thumb is some personal protective equipment is better than no personal protective equipment. And obviously, if you have skills, if you can sew, making those masks for people that are having to go out, that are essential workers, would be really great and a beautiful way to use your skills and bless people. During these times is when we all come together and we share our skills with other people. So there's a lot of myths running around as well with this and with what's happening right now in the world. There were some reports that NSAIDs like ibuprofen could actually make you more susceptible to the disease or give you a worse outcome with COVID-19. Now, Dr. Russell Osguthorpe touched on this and talked about this myth. And he said that a health minister in France actually tweeted out that 3 patients did poorly on NSAIDs like ibuprofen. But since then, the CDC, the WHO, and many scientists have debunked this. There's no evidence at this time that it is good, or strong medical evidence that there is any risk that is increased with these type of drugs. I don't know about you, but I've been inundated with all these Facebook messages that people are sharing, talking about this. And again, there's a lot of fear. And I think for some people, them sharing that makes them feel better. But this is, again, why I only get 2 sources of where I'm getting my information in, and they're sources that I trust. Chris Kresser digs through the research constantly. Dr. Russ Osguthorpe, this is his swim lane. He's an infectious disease specialist. So just start to check those things. Again, there's a lot of fear going around, so just be aware. Chris Kresser talks about adapting to life with COVID-19 and focusing on the opportunities that can come. So we can learn new skills and develop them during this time. How can we make positive changes with what's going on? What shifts in mindset and behaviors could come from this experience? Be intentional spending time each day focusing on these things. We can use this time to actually grow. And that would be a powerful thing to do right now. So I love this image, this graphic, and I thought it was really powerful. The things that we cannot control, so the things that we can let go of versus the things that you can control. We cannot control if other people are following the rules of social distancing. We can't control their actions or predicting what's going to happen or other people's motives or how other people are going to react to this or how long this is going to last or even the amount of toilet paper at the store. We can't control those things, so we can let those go. What we can control, and so we're going to focus on those things, is your own attitudes towards this, how you are going to follow the CDC recommendations, your own, and it says social distancing, we like to rephrase that as physical distancing, your own physical distancing right now, you spreading kindness and grace during this time, you limiting social media and watching the news or turning it off, and you finding fun things to do at home. Those are what we can control, so we're going to focus on those things now. And we're going to bless and release the rest of it, right? Because we can't focus on that stuff. So Chris Kresser talks about the acronym HERO, and it stands for hope, efficacy, resilience, and optimism. And having this realistic optimism. So you will see in his updates, they're realistic. He does share a little bit about the numbers and where we are globally, but then he does talk about what we have control of and what we can do. And one of the things that Chris Kresser mentioned is having a gratitude journal. There's lots of scientific evidence supporting the effects on mental and physical health. So there's some apps that you can use too, Reflectly, the 5-Minute Journal, Think Up app, and 10% Happier app. And these are apps that you can use to have and work on for creating that space of gratitude. It's, again, scientific evidence that that's going to help your mental and physical health during this time, and it's very simple. And I would recommend that this is something that you do with your family. So maybe you all have a gratitude journal together. Maybe you talk about 3 things that you're grateful for each day, or write them down before you go to sleep. Sounds really simple, can completely change how you feel during this time. And I would suggest, I'm going to share lots of different ideas in this class. So just take one, just pick one, because we don't want this to be overwhelming or stressful. But if there's something that I'm saying and you're like, ooh, that resonates with me, trust that and start there. And you can always go back and watch the replay of this and maybe add to that as the first thing becomes easy. So maybe you set the goal of starting a gratitude journal. Maybe you do that for a week and you feel like, oh yeah, I've got this. It's becoming second nature. Then you could add something else in. So there's a really great book. It's called The 5-Minute Stress Relief, and it's by Dr. Elena Welsh. And you can actually read it for free if you have Kindle Unlimited. But she talks about this too, about keep your gratitude list handy and keep that ongoing list. Maybe you could just create a note section in your phone. You put it somewhere where you can easily access it, or use one of those apps that we talked about. And then when you're feeling down or stressed out, or you want to shift that mindset, you can look at your list, and it's going to be a helpful reminder of what makes you feel gratitude and happy and grateful. And it's going to be really helpful to reduce stress during this time. So go back to your gratitude list. We want to go back to the basics. Chris Kresser talks about this, eating a nutrient-dense diet. This is so important. Getting 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep each night. And I would say that some of my private health coaching clients, they really need more like 8 to 10 hours of sleep, or maybe even 10 to 12. Everybody's different. So this is a time where we can really focus on sleep, getting adequate physical activity, but not too much. So here's the thing that we forget. Physical activity can be a stressor on the body. And when we're in a season where threats are high, right? We want to be boosting up the immune system, not breaking it down. So when we're hitting it hard, this is not a time to do CrossFit. This is not a time to train for that next half marathon and push your body really hard. No, this is a time to do walks, to do Tai Chi or Qigong or yoga or deep breathing or spending time in nature. This is not a time to like try to just push your body to the next level, because remember, that does cause stress. This is a time to do things that make us more resilient in a season where we really need to be looking at immune support. So taking steps to manage stress and all the things that I mentioned for exercise can help with that. The Tai Chi, you could do walking meditation, Qigong, breathing. So much of that is really powerful. This is going to be more important than supplements or herbs. Supplements are supplemental to a healthy diet and lifestyle. But we'll dive a little bit deeper into this too. What are we going to do right now? What can we do? We can chill out. We can use essential oils for emotional support. I'll talk more about that. we're going to do those de-stressing activities like yoga and meditation. We're going to do HeartMath, and I'm going to teach you how to do that and actually take you through an exercise on how to do that. We're going to focus on sleep. Now, what's interesting about sleep is we are cyclical beings, and we follow that circadian rhythm. So the body loves when you go to bed when the sun sets, and when you wake up when the sun comes up. So it's actually more effective for you to go to bed by 10 p.m. and ideally stop food intake about 3 hours before bed, because if your body's trying to digest stuff while you go to bed, that can make it a little bit more challenging and make it harder for you to sleep. And get 8 to 10 hours of sleep. So it's better to go to bed at 6 p.m. and get up at 6 a.m. than go to bed at midnight and get up at 8 a.m. They're both 8 hours of sleep, but the body is going to react differently because there's different phases for hormonal support, for liver detoxification, all of that. Ideally, go to bed when the sun goes down, wake up when the sun comes up is a good rule of thumb to focus on. That will help you reset your circadian rhythms. Also, getting outside and getting sunshine and fresh air can also help with that. Light exercise, we mentioned this is not a time to just go, 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 but this is a time to, yes, it's very important to move your body and doing that. This may be a time to try a 3-day sleep vacation. So this is something that I learned from my mentor, Dr. Rita Marie Lascalzo, and for people that are in adrenal fatigue and insufficiency, we have them do this. Now, what's really interesting is I would get a lot of pushback from my private health coaching clients of, well, I don't have time to schedule a 3-day sleep vacation. Guess what? We all have time now to do that. So what you do is you want to cook and prep food ahead of time. This is not a time when you want to be cooking. So maybe you make a big pot of soup or something that you eat for those 3 days. You don't do work. You don't do anything. You go to bed early. You stay in bed for 12 hours. If you can't sleep that whole 12 hours, you can pray, you can meditate, you can read, you can just chill out, but you stay in bed for 12 hours. When you get up, you're going to do very calming things. You're going to read calming books. You're going to watch happy movies. This is not a time to read thrillers, mystery novels, watch scary movies. No, no, no. That's stressful to our adrenal glands. This is not a time to watch Pandemic. This is not a time to play that game. I see people doing that and I'm like, no, that's not a good idea right now. So happy things, romantic comedies, things that bring you joy, laughing, watching comedies. And you do that for 3 days. Stay in bed for 12 hours, have a chill day. And that is a great way to reset our adrenals. And a lot of people that are just feeling fatigued and tired all the time, when they do this, that 3-day sleep vacation, they feel a lot better. It resets the body. So schedule a 3-day sleep vacation, get it on the books right now. This is the time to do it. Eating a whole fresh foods diet, which means avoiding the packaged foods, eliminating gluten, dairy, sugar, soy, corn, peanuts, and eggs. Those are the top 10 food sensitivities. I'm not talking about allergies. I'm just talking about foods that can cause increased inflammation in the body. So you can actually do an elimination diet if you want. I have a whole class up on YouTube just on functional nutrition. If you go to YouTube and you type in Dr. Laura Ricci, Nourishing from Within, that class will come up. It'll walk you through how to do an elimination diet, what to eat, all of that. But those are good places to start. And also getting some sunshine. So back with the Spanish flu epidemic, they were finding that patients that were outside and that they were getting fresh air and sunshine and that vitamin D were doing way better than the patients that were inside in the hospital. So if you can go outside or set up a little chair and table or something, that would be a really great thing to do during this time. So these are some really great tips from Dr. Mark Hyman. He is a functional medicine doctor. He has some really fabulous books that you can check out. And he has a whole blog post about this, and it's linked there that you can find. But he talks about his 10 big tips for the essentials right now and supporting you. And number 1, whole foods, nutrient-dense diet. You're going to hear us talk about that a lot. Number 2, cut out sugar, refined starches, caffeine, and alcohol. Those things can all suppress your immune system. This is not a time to just drink wine the whole time that you're home. Sorry to be a buzzkill on that, but it does suppress your immune system. Okay, we're going to take adequate, clean protein intake, ideally about half your body weight in grams of protein. So you can start to look at that. And that could be vegan sources as well. And looking at different options. Lots of garlic, onions, ginger, and spices. These are all going to be great to support you. Fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, all of these things that support the microbiome, the gut healing, because the gut is the gateway to your health and wellness. The gut is the gateway to your immune system. Drinking more fluids, especially warmer fluids like bone broths, soups, herbal teas. I actually have some bone broth going in my crock pot. If you don't know how to make bone broth, I have a whole YouTube video on that. Search on my name and bone broth. It's up on Instagram as well. I've got some nice herbal tea going here for me, which is nice. So drinking lots of fluids, staying hydrated, sufficient sleep, like we talked about, regular exercise, meditation and a yoga practice, and supplementing correctly. And we'll talk about some supplements too at the end of this class to give you some tips. But again, supplements are supplemental to a whole foods diet. So you're going to reduce your caffeine intake. Caffeine actually increases the release of cortisol. And during stressful times, that might not be a great thing because stress increases levels of release of cortisol. So if we're already stressed out, we're pumping cortisol like crazy, and then we add caffeine to that, that cannot be such a great combo. And it can also cause you to feel more jittery, and you may have a harder time concentrating. And it can impact your sleep. So be mindful about your caffeine intake and set daily limits. And again, reach for water, reach for herbal teas, reach for bone broth, reach for those things too. Okay, my family medicine doctor, Dr. Eric Ely, he's with Well Life Family Medicine. He wrote a really, really, really great blog post. It's all evidence-based and researched about pragmatic and practical actions for staying safe and healthy. So if you Google Well Life COVID-19, he's got a whole blog post. It's very, very well done. And you can sign up for an email drip that has education. And I actually teamed up with him and we did a whole video series on essential oils to support you, all the specifics during this time. So go and find that. I'll link it up. I'll share it over on my Facebook page and in the groups and everything that you can check out too. It's a really, really great blog post to learn. And I thought this was funny. The fact that toilet paper, toxic soaps, and toxic cleaning supplies are out of stock, but fresh fruits and veggies and herbs are fully stocked shows how little people understand about the immune system. This is true. I actually saw a meme going around on Instagram that said something about how in the future there may be a little warning saying, were you overly exposed to bleach and Lysol and harmful chemicals during the COVID 2020 epidemic? You may be entitled to blah, blah, blah. It was kind of funny, but it did make me think. We forget that plants are powerful and we don't need to, those really toxic cleaners and sprays are hard on our respiratory system. And if COVID-19 is a respiratory virus, something that shows up as a pneumonia or bronchitis, don't we want to be cautious about that? Like, I'm just throwing some things out. So we've been making our own cleaners. I've been posting a lot of videos about that, how we make hand soap, how we make our all-purpose spray cleaners, how we make a hand sanitizer spray that we use for things. So I think, yes, it's important to be cleaning and spraying, but we don't have to use really, really harsh chemicals that are going to be hard on our system with that. So this is a great image. This is from doTERRA. It's about how to properly wash your hands. And I know that you all are tired of hearing people talk about that. It is the best way to save lives. It is the best thing that you can do for prevention for you. So this graphic shows you wet your hands, you put enough soap to cover the whole surface, you rub your palms together, you do right palm over left and vice versa. So a lot of us forget to wash the back of our hands, forget to interlace our hands and our fingers and pull back and forth, and to do the thumb. The thumb is one of the most commonly missed places to wash, the front and back. I would also get your fingernails in there, rub up under the fingernails, wash that really well, get the wrists going forward and backward. This is also a time to keep your fingernails short. And we don't need to paint our nails during this time. We don't need to have really long fingernails during this time because those are all areas that things can collect that we don't want to collect, right? So really, really wash your hands really, really good. Rinse them really good. Dry thoroughly with a towel and use that towel to turn off the faucet, and that's how your hands are clean. Now, also little PSA, when you have to cough or sneeze, your elbow right here, this is your cough pocket. Sneeze, cover, because if you're doing that into your hands, now you need to go wash your hands again, right? So make sure you cover, make sure you wash your hands. Very, very important during this time. Okay, the other thing that we need to talk about is perception of stress. The world isn't going to change. We have to change. And it's our job and our responsibility to start responding differently to stressful situations, to change how you react to stress. This is really important. I saw this image on Instagram and I just thought it was so profound. A caterpillar must endure a season of isolation before it turns into a butterfly. Embrace the time you have alone. It will only make you stronger. It's really powerful. And I think it is important to remember that there is good happening in the world right now. This is a quote from Gina Mayer. Since the lockdown, Venice's canals have become crystal clear. Italy coasts have dolphins coming nearer and nearer. Japan now has deer roaming free in the streets, and Thailand the same with monkeys. China has record-breaking pollution cuts. The earth has already begun showing signs of amazing things that are happening from the absence of human pollution. She says, what if, and hear me out, what if the entire human population used this as an opportunity to restart society on a greener, more environmentally conscious foot? What we are seeing in the span of a couple days is amazing, a pipe dream. So we're seeing things change. We're seeing the earth healing from the pollution of just us staying inside. So not everything is bad. And I loved this quote, what if we trusted that everything was unfolding exactly as it should? And Eckhart Tolle talks about this a little bit. I've also heard Deepak Chopra talk about this, not judging things. I think we're very quick to judge, this is good, this is bad. What if we didn't put a label on it? What if we didn't say this is good or this is bad? What if we just say it is? It is what it is. We're in this state right now. It is what it is. We don't have to judge it. We can just move forward, right? And do the best that we can with what we can control. Very powerful. And this is really funny. If you are Office fans, there is a program that, am I saying his name right? John Krasinski. He started, and it's called Some Good News. And you could go and you can watch it. It's hilarious. I know Jimmy Fallon, is that right? He's like he's doing different skits. Lots of funny videos to go and watch during this time. And that's actually important because laughter really is the best medicine. There was research conducted by Dr. Lee Burke that found that regular laughter has physical benefits similar to those of regular moderate exercise. And how laughter has been shown to lower blood pressure, reduce stress hormones, improve the function of the immune system, and release endorphins, which are the body's natural painkillers, and they're also known as feel-good hormones. So set aside 5 minutes for some laugh therapy each day. You could try laughter yoga. You could search for videos on YouTube. You could watch stand-up comedy. You could watch a funny sitcom or a comedy. You could watch comedians. You could watch silly animal videos, laughing, finding joy right now, doing that with your family and your kids. That's really, really important. Meditation. We talked about how important meditation is and how profound it can be to help you during this time. There are lots of apps. So Insight Timer is a free app that I love. Calm is another one, Calm Me. And then Oprah and Deepak Chopra, they have a 21-day meditation experience. And they typically do it for free, maybe quarterly throughout the year, but they opened up one during this time right now that is free and it's open to everybody if you download their app. It's called Hope in Uncertain Times. And they recorded it a couple years ago, but I can tell you it's very profound. So I've been listening to that every morning and finding that it helps to bring some peace and some calm. There's something amazing about waking up and then meditating to just get you in the right headspace. Not waking up and checking your phone and checking the news and seeing the latest numbers, blah, blah, blah. Like that's very stressful. So Dr. Sarah Ballantyne, she has a really fantastic book called Go to Bed. And in the book, she talks about how meditation can help you be more resilient to stressors and improve sleep quality. And studies show benefits even with only 10 minutes. That's amazing. I think we have this misconception that meditation isn't helpful for us unless we sit in a pillow and we do it for an hour. We do it perfectly. But really the research shows us that even 10 minutes can have profound effects on our physical and mental well-being and health. So I'm going to take you through a HeartMath exercise. I love this quote from Eckhart Tolle: "Stillness is where creativity and solutions to problems are found." So hopefully we're all inside, right? We can get a little bit quiet in this moment. So go ahead and get in a comfortable position. If you're seated, I want you to have your feet planted firmly on the ground. Feel really grounded in the chair. And you're going to put your hands over your heart. So try this with me. Everybody can close their eyes. And you're going to take a really deep breath in and a big letting go breath, sigh out. And I want you to start to bring some awareness to your heart. Just focus in on that area, taking some deep breaths in and letting them go out. And I want you to go in your mind to a place that you love. This can be a real place. This can be an imaginary place. This could be a place you went on vacation. For me, I love the beach. I'm a beach girl, so I'm going to go to the beach. For you, maybe the mountains. But I want you to visualize that in as much detail as you can and really sense it with all your senses. Like notice those sounds. Notice any smells. I want you to actually feel the sun on your skin and the wind on your face. And really ground in here in this place that you feel safety and comfort. And in this place, I want you to think about a time where you felt great love, gratitude, appreciation, and joy. Time in your life when you felt that. Maybe you were holding a newborn baby in your arms for the very first time. Maybe you were petting a beloved pet. Maybe you're with a loved one or a friend. But really breathe in deep into that space of that time with great love, gratitude, appreciation, and joy. Take a deep breath in. Do a deep breath out, let it go. When you feel ready, you can open your eyes. How do you feel? Do you feel a little different? Do you notice a change in how your body feels? Maybe you feel a little lighter. That didn't take us very long. That was just a few seconds. And it can have a profound effect on how you feel, which is so powerful. So what I love about HeartMath is you don't need tools. You don't need extra stuff or anything. You can do that from anywhere, and you can start to practice that wherever you are. The kids may be fighting in front of you. There may be crazy stuff going on, and you can just take that deep breath. You can do it even without closing your eyes, and you can go to the beach or go to the mountains or go to your happy place and breathe in deep there. You can think about that time that you felt gratitude and appreciation. So my husband knows if I say, I went to the beach a lot today, that means it was a really abundant day. But this is a method that I learned from Dr. Rita Marie, and I love it. So she recommends doing it 5 times a day. When you first wake up in the morning, before you get out of bed, before each meal, so before breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because that puts you in a calm state so that you can fully digest and absorb your food. Not a good idea to be eating your meals in front of the news right now. Not good. And then before you go to bed, can change everything. Simple technique, free. You can do it anytime you need to. So start to incorporate more HeartMath into your life. It's powerful. Music for stress. Music is highly beneficial for reducing stress. It reduces our level of stress-related physiologically aroused. It can actually physiologically arouse arousal by lowering our heart rate and blood pressure. And it can actually slow the release of stress hormones. So it reduces feelings of restlessness and anxiety and nervousness. And listening to music has been linked to the release of endorphins. Again, those feel-good chemicals, those feel-good hormones that are really helpful for creating calm and well-being. And the cool thing is it doesn't matter what type of music it is. So if you love 80s music, play some 80s music. If you love 90s music, listen to that. If you love classical music, listen to that. It's really whatever you enjoy. So one of the things that I love to do is diffuse essential oils. I have my diffuser going over here, which is so nice to get that aromatic support of the oils. And then I love to combine that with music and have both going at the same time. This is powerful. Okay, this is a funny picture. It's a way for you to get creative. I have a friend who lives in my neighborhood and we're doing physically distancing right now, physical distance, but we don't have to do social distancing. So we hopped on the phone together and we went on a walk together and we just stayed on opposite sides of the street. And it was really fun. So this is a time where you can get creative with your physical distancing, but not socially distancing, and still have that connection and still get outside and move your body. It was really a blast. So maybe try that sometime. We had a fun time with that. Stretching for stress. Stress can actually restrict blood flow. It can cause tension in the muscles. So stretching can help to counter the physical manifestation of stress by actually increasing blood flow in there. So more stretching equals less muscle tension, and it can help to counter the immune suppressing effects of stress, and it can also help to calm your mind and you can feel more relaxed. Now you can expand on that by doing some yoga for stress relief. So that combined benefit of the meditation plus the movement to connect the mind and body, it can help to counter those negative effects of chronic stress, anxiety, insomnia, and high cortisol levels. So yoga can help to make us more resilient when facing stressors. And a study in the UK found that after 6 weeks of engaging in a 1 hour of yoga per week, people reported greater self-confidence in combating stress. And there's different types of yoga. You can see them listed here. You can play with different ones. You can try different ones. You could search online on YouTube for different routines. You could start with something more like restorative yoga, which is slower and it's more focused on the restoration and relaxation. There's Kundalini yoga, more meditation focused. There's even aerobic and fast-paced yoga. You can play with it and see which ones resonate best with you. And then also take a dance break. I love this. Dancing is movement plus music, and both are linked to reducing emotional and physical stress. So this improves physical and mental health. It can improve overall quality of life. It can reduce depression, improve mood, enhance cognitive and motor skills. And if you follow me over on Instagram, on Mondays, we do Move It Mondays. And we dance, my husband and I, and we would love to see you take dance breaks. If you dance around in your home, do it with your family, tag me at Dr. Laura Ricci on Instagram. I would love to see how you're dancing and moving and reducing stress in this way. And this was a funny little graphic that goes along with that. Life is simple. Question, are you happy? Yes. Keep dancing. Are you not? No. Then you start dancing. I thought that was funny. One of my Instagram followers sent that to me. So just breathe. When we are stressed and anxious, breathing becomes really rapid and slow. By taking a full deep breath, you are telling your body that everything is going to be okay. This is linked to improved mood. It is critical during times of high stress or anxiety, and breath is an anchor to you. Very, very important. And I love this quote. This is from Mr. Miyagi. If you watch Karate Kid, this is actually from Karate Kid Part 2. But he says, when you feel life is out of focus, always return to the basics of life. Breathing. No breath, no life. And that's really important to remember. So there is something called 4-7-8 breathing. And the goal of this is actually to slow down your breathing And as you practice this over time, you can do this in times of high stress. So we're going to do this together. I'm going to walk you through it, but take a moment and try it with us. So you're going to inhale slowly through your nose as you count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to hold for 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and exhale for 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can repeat that for up to 5 minutes. You could set a timer, and I love Insight Timer, the meditation app, and you could just practice this, inhaling to the count of 4, holding to the count of 7, exhale to the count of 8, and do that for 5 minutes. You will feel different. Or if you're feeling stressed right now, just take a deep breath in again. Let it go. Big sigh. That can really help. Essential oils can be really helpful. So this is information from the book, The 5-Minute Stress Relief, about how essential oils can be helpful and be a tool that you can use during this time. So it's linked to reducing psychological and physiological stress. Lavender is a really calming one. We joke and we say lavender is the gateway oil. It's probably the most commonly used essential oil most people think of when they think of essential oils there, but it can help with increased relaxation and calmness and decrease negative mood. So if you're having anxious feelings, if you're feeling stressed out, it actually can be absorbed in the skin. It's very high in linalool, and that's a principal component of lavender that has been found to help lower blood pressure and heart rate, and it's been linked to improved memory. So use your essential oils. Lemon or citrus oils have been linked to increased relaxation and reduction of heart rate, and there was a study that found that after the scent was inhaled for just 10 minutes, the physiological effects of lowered heart rate lasted for almost a half hour. This is why I have all the diffusers running in our home during this time, also for immune support to cleanse and purify the air. Orange essential oil has been linked with increased relaxation and calmness and decreased negative mood, including anxious feelings, even in stressful situations. And rosemary oil has been reported to induce calmness and relaxation. So there's lots of options. We can use our tools. So what's interesting is using essential oils aromatically can actually help to improve our mood. And so when we inhale that essential oil, those plant compounds, so they go up in through the nasal cavity into the olfactory nerve, which is a direct link into our limbic system of the brain. And this is what can help us to stabilize emotions, calm anxious feelings, encourage motivation or relaxation. And having that direct impact into the central nervous system to calm it down. When we inhale something, within about 30 seconds, that is going to the brain. And that limbic system controls heart rate, blood pressure, breathing, memory, stress, and other emotions. So sometimes people will tell me, Laura, it sounds a little hokey that you're telling me that smelling an essential oil is going to change my mood or my state. But if you think about when we go to the dentist, oftentimes they're not using a pill or an injection. They use laughing gas, and we inhale those synthetic compounds, and it can cause that state of euphoria and calm and relax us. It's very similar with the essential oils, except those are natural compounds that we're using. So this is an interesting research study, effects of aromatherapy on sleep quality and anxiety of patients. And they found that lavender oil increased quality of sleep and reduced level of anxiety in patients with coronary artery disease. Very interesting. I know a lot of people are having trouble sleeping during this time. This could be a nice tool to use. The effects of lavender essence inhalation on the level of anxiety and blood cortisol in candidates with open heart surgery. And they actually found that there was a significant reduction in a mean anxiety score, and that they actually found it decreased their blood cortisol from inhalation of lavender. This is just inhalation, just aromatic. We're not even talking about topical use at this point. And they were finding that aromatherapy with lavender could be considered as a nursing intervention in clinical settings. So something that's safe, something that can help. And remember, cortisol is that stress hormone. It helps us gain weight, actually, which we don't want. It suppresses our immune system, and just inhaling lavender can help with that, which I think is really fascinating. There are lots and lots of essential oils for stress. I have several listed here. We talked about lavender, we talked about lemon. Citrus oils are very uplifting to mood. Lavender is very calming. So if you're feeling very anxious, I tend to go more towards the lavender and the calming oils. If you're feeling really down during this time, more of the citrus oils to be more of a little bit of a boost. But I like people to smell them and use which one resonates with you during this time. There is a blend called Adaptive, and doTERRA uses this. Full disclosure, I am a doTERRA wellness advocate. I do sell doTERRA essential oils and educate people on how to use them. But Adaptive is the calming blend. This is a blend. It has lavender, which is the queen of calm and relaxation, as we talked about. It has rosemary, which can be really, really energizing and herbaceous. It has neroli, which calms and uplifts. Wild orange, we just talked about wild orange. It's uplifting, it's positive, it's energizing. Spearmint, which helps to promote a focused environment. And copaiba, which actually helps to soothe anxious feelings. And then magnolia. Magnolia is one of my favorites. It's very sweet scent, and it actually has more linalool than lavender. We talked about how lavender, that's that primary constituent there. It's very, very soothing. So Adaptive was specifically created to help us in times of stress and uncertainty. And I'm pulling it out and smelling it. I've been diffusing this like crazy. So there's an essential oil. There's a touch roller, which is pre-diluted and fractionated coconut oil designed for topical use that you can put on. And then there are also capsules that you can take for internal use. So we can get all three methods of application: topical, internal, and aromatic with the Adaptive line. But that's a good one to bring out during this time. And I also found this as a stress support roller blend. This is from the complete book of essential oils and aromatherapy. It's 5 drops each: clary sage, Roman chamomile, lavender, and geranium in a 10 ml roller bottle. And you just top with fractionated coconut oil and you put it on the bottoms of your feet and your wrist and over the heart. And you do that 2 to 3 times a day. And then the other blend that she had was 5 drops each of Roman chamomile, ylang ylang, petitgrain, and sandalwood, top with fractionated coconut oil. Same thing, bottoms of the feet, wrists, over the heart, all great places to put oils for emotional support during this time. So you can try different things. Adaptive's a blend, it's already made for us, or you can make your own blends and use that there. So this is interesting about coloring and doodling and how it can help the mind. There's a quote from Picasso about how art washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life, and that when you're engaging in art projects, you can actually help to reduce anxiety. And they found this in college students, and it helps with emotional relaxation in people undergoing medical treatments. So drawing can actually help to reduce the perception of physical pain. It's going to divert your attention away from painful stimuluses. So this could be a great time to shift your attention away from the negative things that are going on. And also drawing, coloring, creating art is found to improve concentration, make you more creative. So I have been seeing in our neighborhood a lot of kids playing with chalk and drawing on the sidewalk. You can get out with your kids and draw or color. This would be a great time to pick up that pen and paper and start to get creative and artistic. And this is another thing. We talked about slowing down our breath, but also slowing down everything that we're doing in our day-to-day walk, talk, life experience, and just be present and mindful. So when you're drinking water, drink water. When you're stirring the soup, stir the soup. When you're in the shower, be in the shower. Don't be 10 steps ahead in your day thinking about all of these things. So when we're brushing our teeth, brush our teeth. Just focus on coming back to being present and that mindfulness, that we don't get in autopilot with doing everything, that we come back to the present moment, that we cultivate mindfulness. My mentor, Dr. Jessica Drummond, she said, practice the art of mindfulness, because if you're not, you're actually practicing distraction. So going back to those daily tasks, slowing down and working on those things can be really powerful. And then here are some supplement recommendations from Dr. Mark Hyman. So things to help you during this time: taking a multivitamin, multimineral. My husband and I take the doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack. You can take some extra vitamin D3. I'm doing that during this time when seasonal threats are high. I take extra D3 on top of what's in my Lifelong Vitality Pack. So there's a brand that I like called Thorn, and it's little droplets. You may need 5,000 IUs a day. You can start with 2,000. Taking some buffered vitamin C or liposomal vitamin C, that's really important. So the adrenals use more vitamin C than any other area of the body. So in times of high stress, we want to boost that vitamin C. It's also going to help with your immune system. Zinc citrate, you could do 30 milligrams per day. Taking a good probiotic is really important. We do the PD Assist from doTERRA. Also taking a good fish oil. It's actually in our Lifelong Vitality Pack, but you could take extra fish oil on top of that if you wanted. And then there's some natural antiviral herbs like astragalus, green tea extract, and andrographis and monolaurin. Those are all good things that you can take too. Other supplements and herbs, pantothenic acid or B5, that's actually in our Lifelong Vitality Pack. Vitamin C, as we mentioned, magnesium, which I'll talk more about in just a little bit. Mito2 Max from doTERRA, that's really meant to be an adrenal support supplement. So in times of high stress, Mito2 Max actually has ashwagandha and cordyceps and a lot of supportive adaptogenic herbs to help us in times of stress. And then we mentioned the adaptive capsules that you can get from doTERRA. Very, very great. You can take one a day to help with anxious feelings or one at night to help with sleep, which is really powerful during this time. And vitamin C, so PerQ, this is a good vitamin C tablet, or you could do a liquid liposomal vitamin C or a powder. You can find different options, but about 1,000 milligrams 3 times a day. Vitamin C is water soluble, so you're not going to get toxic at high levels, and you can actually increase that to bowel tolerance. So you can up your vitamin C until you actually get loose stools, diarrhea, and then back off just a little bit. But this can really help to boost the adrenals and your immune system. Let's load up on vitamin C right now. Magnesium. Magnesium is a vital mineral that's involved in an estimated 800 plus enzymatic reactions in the body. And most of us are deficient in magnesium. So Dr. Carolyn Dean, she's the author of a book called The Magnesium Miracle. And she recommends to take magnesium supplements between meals for optimal absorption. And you can gradually increase it to bowel tolerance, like the vitamin C. Find your threshold at different times, right? Don't hit it hard with the vitamin C and hit it hard with magnesium because you're going to have loose stools and you don't know how to find your optimal dosage for you. But do one at a time. And so you can gradually increase your magnesium until you get loose stools, diarrhea, and then back off a little bit. But according to the National Institute of Health, the recommended daily allowance for magnesium is between 310 and 320 milligrams for adults of an average weight. I like Natural Calm. It's a powder. They have one specific for sleep that you can take before bed. They have others for muscle tension and tightness and different flavors. There's like a cherry flavor. So one of the things that you can do is if you like the sparkling water, like this is Waterloo or there's La Croix, you can look for ones that don't have any weird added stuff in them. You can get a sparkling water. So for example, there's a La Croix cherry lime. And you can pour that in a glass and you can put a scoop of the cherry Natural Calm magnesium powder. And then I like to do a drop or two of our lime essential oil and mix it up. And it's like a cherry limeade. But it's not going to spike your blood sugar. It's actually going to bring some calm and some magnesium support. And then you're getting all of the limonene and the antioxidant boost from the lime essential oil. It's really nice. You can even add some liquid vitamin C in there too. Make a nice little drink. So make a little mocktail, if you will, a little magnesium mocktail to support you right now, instead of the cocktail, because we talked about how alcohol suppresses the immune system. All right, so I'm going to take you through a quick little visioning exercise. This is crafting your vision, and I hope that this will help you to find that one area that you need to dial in on right now, and that you're going to get some answers. And just help us to integrate all of the things that we talked about today. So again, you're going to get quiet. You're going to get in a comfortable position. If you're sitting in a chair, you're going to firmly plant and ground your feet in the chair. You're going to close your eyes. We're going to take a deep breath in. Deep letting go breath out. And I want you to just start to notice and be aware of how your physical body is feeling in this moment. Notice if you're holding any tension or tightness anywhere in the body. And if you are, just bring awareness to it. Breathe deeply into that area and see if you can soften it and release it and let it go. So notice if you're holding any tension in your head, forehead, jaw. Again, breathing deep into that area and then releasing, letting go, letting it soften. Notice if you're holding any tension in your neck, shoulders, torso, arms, abdomen. And again, just taking deep breaths, breathing deeply into that space and allowing it to let go and soften. Breathing deeply into your hips, to your knees, ankles, toes. I want you to imagine that you're standing on a path, and this path stretches out far, far in front of you and far, far behind you. And this path represents your life up to this point. And just bring awareness, no judgment. Whatever comes to you in this moment is what's supposed to come to you. But notice what the path looks like. Where are you? What are you wearing? Are you by yourself or somebody with you? What's the weather like? Really take in this moment in as much detail as you possibly can. Are you hearing any sounds? Do you smell any sense? Any sense from nature? Do you taste anything? Do you taste salty sea air? Again, we're really grounding into this space. Take it in as much detail as you can. I want you to feel that wind on your skin. I want you to go ahead and start walking down this path. And as you walk down the path, you approach a dwelling. And just notice what that dwelling looks like. What's the architecture look like? What color is it? I want you to walk up to that front door. Go ahead and knock on the door. And you are surprised, but not surprised, to see a familiar face smile at you and answer the door. And this is your most authentic future self. And they greet you, they give you a big hug, they've been waiting for you. And they invite you to come inside. And as you come inside, just notice what the dwelling looks like inside. What's the architecture like? What's the furniture like? Is it just the two of you, or is there somebody else there too? Do you smell anything? Is there anything cooking or baking? Your most authentic future self invites you in to sit at the kitchen table and have a cup of tea. And this is your moment to ask your most authentic future self, what is the one thing that I can do for my health and wellness right now? Just be open to receiving whatever that answer is. It's often very simple. It may be one word. It may be one sentence. But just be open to receiving that wisdom from your future self. This is also your opportunity to ask your most authentic future self any question that's been heavy on your mind. Anything that you just don't understand right now about what's going on in the world, about what's going on in your life. Go ahead and ask that question, anything that's been feeling heavy. And be open to receiving the wisdom and the answers from your future self. And I'll give you a moment to take in and receive that wisdom, that advice. We'll start to wrap up that conversation. You're going to thank your future self for all of the wisdom that they have given to you today. And you give them a big hug. And as you hug them, they start to dissipate into this radiant white healing light that goes directly into your heart, because your most authentic future self resides there, lives there, and is always guiding you and protecting you. I want you to start coming back into this space, feeling yourself fully supported by the chair, feeling your feet firmly grounded, planted on the floor. You can start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Take another big deep breath in. And big sigh out. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. How do you feel? Do you feel a little different? If you have a pen and paper, I would encourage you to write down the advice that your future self gave you. There's wisdom in that. That is tuning in and talking to your intuition or your inner wisdom. I want you to be able to differentiate the difference of that between the inner critic. The inner critic is usually a authoritative figure, a parental figure. They're the ones that are kind of wah, 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 wah. I think of Charlie Brown's teacher, wah, 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 wah. They're the ones that are saying, no, you shouldn't do this. Are you sure you want to wear that? Look at how your hair looks. Da, 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 da. That. Your intuition, your inner wisdom is always covered with grace and love. So start to be able to identify that. I would journal what you saw, what the path looked like, what you were wearing, what the dwelling looked like, what your future self looked like. That would be really powerful. Or if you're more of an artist, you could draw it. You could create a digital Pinterest board with those images. Start to use those as an anchor and start to heed that advice. And you can visualize that for a short amount of time in the morning and before you go to bed. Make that part of your HeartMath to tune into that wisdom. Doesn't that take long, but it can have profound effects. And I wanted to close with this. This is a quote from Anita Moorjani. As the media focuses on the virus and how many people are contracting it, we also need to realize that there are millions upon millions of people who have not caught it, despite being exposed to it. And there are tens of thousands who have recovered from it. Focus on that too. And I loved this image. Any Winnie the Pooh fans says, what are we going to do now? We're going to go home. Piglet, we're going home because that's the best thing to do right now. So sometimes in the craziness, the gift is getting quiet and getting still, and that's where the answers come in. And we can use this as an opportunity to do some deep healing work on ourselves. And I believe as you heal yourself, you heal the world. And that's what we all need right now. And we can come together as a collective in a really powerful way. So a lot of the tips from this class are from the book 5-Minute Stress Relief. And it's 75 exercises to quiet your mind and calm your body by Dr. Elena Welsh. This would be a great thing. Again, this is free on Kindle Unlimited. You could read this with your family and start to do some of these exercises together. It could be really powerful. And if you're new to the world of essential oils, if you don't have somebody that's educating and supporting you, and if you want to try and bring these oils into your home and some of these tools, I would love to be the person to help you do that. We have a starter kit, a Healthy Start kit. It's $160. It's our top 10 oils plus a diffuser, and it's going to be a game changer. There are oils in here to help with emotional support as well as physical support and boosting your immune system during this time. And when we have tools and we feel prepared, we feel more peaceful. There's a bigger kit. This is 10 oils in the 15 ml bottles, about 250 drops in each bottle, and a diffuser. It's $249, and it has the adaptive and copaiba and balance. These are big guns for emotional support, which is so powerful. So if that resonates with you, let me know. And then we also have a healthy home kit. This kit is top 10 oils in the big bottles, a diffuser, and all of our OnGuard products. So OnGuard cleaning products, the hand wash, the hand sanitizer, the toothpaste, and non-toxic shampoo and conditioner, that's $350. If you're ready to make over your home, start this non-toxic lifestyle, have these tools, that would be a great one as well. And I am participating in something called Diamond Club. So I am spending the next 3 months, April, May, and June, teaching tons of classes, empowering people with natural tools and remedies. It is my passion. And when you get started with a starter kit with me, you'll actually get a Citrus Bliss oil for free. Or depending on which kit you get, you could also get Citrus Bliss and Adaptive for free. So reach out to me. I can help you to get some freebies and some free oils when you get started this month. Don't forget, if you already have an account with doTERRA, we have our Precious Florals kits that were just released. So these have rose, magnolia, jasmine, neroli, and blue lotus. This is our first time getting to experience blue lotus, and it's the only way that you can have it, is by purchasing these Precious Petal Floral kits. Now, these are designed to be a non-toxic perfume, but as we discussed, essential oils are powerful for physical and also emotional health. So that is available. They're limited time. When they're gone, but that could be a really precious thing to do just for emotional support for you right now. And then Melissa oil is 10% off. Melissa is a big guns for immune support as well as emotional support. So if you're just feeling very dark, very down right now, Melissa's powerful for that. You can do a drop under your tongue every day for emotional support and immune support. And also Yarrow Palm capsules are 10% off. These have a lot of the things we talked about in them: zinc, vitamin C. They also have some powerhouse essential oils like frankincense and turmeric, lots of big gun oils in there. So that's a great one to help with immune support, but also lifting your mood, antioxidant support, and skin health. They're actually designed to help with healthy skin. But what's interesting is we heal from the inside out. And as we start to implement some of these things, you can see that. Very powerful. So here's some of the resources. I learned this from Dr. Jessica Drummond with the Integrative Women's Health Institute, Dr. Rita Scalzo with the Institute of Nutritional Endocrinology. We used some recipes from the Complete Book of Essential Oils and Aromatherapy by Valerie Ann Woodward. I love the Essential Life book as well as the Modern Essentials book and that 5 minutes stress relief book as well. Great tools. And this is my contact information. You can find me at my website. You can email me if you have any questions. You can find me over on Facebook at Dr. Laura Ricci. I'm on Instagram too at Dr. Laura Ricci. I'm on YouTube. I've got over 500 videos on health and wellness and using essential oils and nutrition. And then I teach a free monthly virtual class here in our Learning with Dr. Laura Facebook group. So you can check that out. I love to pop in and share and support you. And then I've got a lot of upcoming classes coming up. So this Saturday, I'm actually teaching a class on essential oils made easy. It's free. You can go and you can register. We'd love to have you come join us. It's 9 a.m. Central Time. I'm teaching a Shine Brighter Self-Care to Recover from Burnout virtual class. That's going to be on Thursday, April 9th. You can get more information to register there. We're doing an Essential Oils for Pain virtual class on April 14th. And another Essential Oils Made Easy class on April 23rd. So if you'd like to learn more, if I can help and serve in any way, it would be my joy and my pleasure, my honor. I am doing all the virtual education as much as we can, April, May, and June, and really beyond. I teach a lot virtually, but especially now in this time, it's a great way that we can connect, that we can support one another, all of the things with that I think is so powerful. So I love to pop in and help and serve. Again, I don't think essential oils are a magic bullet, but I do think that they're a tool that we can use to help and support us, especially during this time, which is really amazing. Okay, I want to open it up for questions. I'm going to go back through the chat. If you have any questions, type them in the chat. Let me know how you're doing. Oh, so somebody asked about doTERRA and Chris Kresser. I watch them both on Facebook. They post their videos on Facebook, and that's so handy to have on hand. So I just check in on Facebook and see how they're doing each day. But I do believe that doTERRA does post those videos on YouTube as well. And Chris Kresser's on Instagram too. And so are the doTERRA videos. They're on Instagram too. Oh, Stephanie says she feels amazing and calm. Oh, good. Maybe that was after the HeartMath. Yeah, so good. It's amazing how just those simple little changes can just affect everything. So pull those in. I feel like if you do those guided imagery meditations or the HeartMath and you use your essential oils, I love to do a palm inhale. So I'll rub them on my hand and then rub together and just do a big deep breath in over mouth and nose. So you can combine all these tools together. You can do your HeartMath with your oils. You can do your oils with your breathing. Very, very powerful tools, and you can do them whenever. And you can go back and watch the replay. You can like fast forward it to the HeartMath part and listen to it, or you can fast forward it to the guided imagery part. It's interesting to see how that can shift and that can change on your healing journey. Any other questions that you can think of? Questions, comments? Over on Zoom, you can unmute yourself. You can ask them in, or you can type them in the chat. Oh, I'm so glad that you found the class helpful. Yes, it's my pleasure. Yay, I'm so glad that you saved some screenshots, Margie, that you have those. Yeah, and if you're watching over on Facebook Live, I'll post the recording of this that has the slides and everything in our group, and I'll also pop it over on YouTube so that you have it, because sometimes technology works for us and I can live stream it in from Zoom, and sometimes it doesn't, so we just roll with it. My mama always says, blessed are the flexible, for they do not get bent out of shape. And I feel like this is a time that's really calling that in for all of us. We're learning how to pivot and shift and be flexible. And honestly, these are tools for everything. I had a really deep discussion with one of my friends who has dealt with chronic Lyme disease, and going through things like cancer or Lyme disease or major orthopedic surgeries or whatever it is, it forces you in a way to completely change your life. Like I would say, we all know that we're supposed to eat clean, right? We all know that we're supposed to eat clean and manage our stress and sleep and drink water and exercise. We all know that. But going through that forced me to, because if I didn't do those things, I felt awful. It's like my body was my barometer. Now what's really interesting is I feel like we're in this position where the world is getting an opportunity to go through that. And we're all going through it together. And we're all holding space for one another. But I truly do believe that it starts with us. And as we heal, the world heals. As you heal, you help other people heal. You're the inspiration for that. And I just think it's interesting that we're in this time that we're at home and we have time and space to do things that we've been saying that we haven't been able to do for years. And it can be an opportunity for this massive healing in a huge way, on so many levels. So I hold space for that. And I know it's a heavy time, but I also do believe that there's going to be a lot of good things that come out of this space as well. So hold on to that. Take care of one another. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you next month for another health and wellness class. You can pop over on Facebook, and I've got all of the upcoming videos. So if you want to learn about oils and pain, or I've been getting a lot of requests for essential oils and emotions, we'll have to do that class. That'll be a good class. And reach out to me if you want a specific class. If you want to learn about something, let me know. This is the time for us to get together. And it's so fun on Zoom because I can see your beautiful faces, which I love. And I'm seeing all the hearts over on Facebook. So thank you. I feel the love. That's really powerful. It's such an honor, I think, to do this work, and such an honor to show up and still connect with you all, that we are still connected in a big way. Oh, that's so beautiful. Yes, I see the positives in all of this, spending time with my family, dinners, walks. This information is very helpful. Oh, I'm so glad. All right, well, everybody take care. If you implement something from this, if you take one thing from this class, that's my ask of you. Take one thing that you learned and start to implement that. Please tag me on social media. Tag me on Facebook or tag me over on Instagram. I would love to see how what we're talking about and what we're teaching is changing your life, because I truly believe it's like one step at a time, one change at a time. If you try to do everything, it's going to feel overwhelming. Pick one thing. That's why we talk to your inner wisdom and your intuition on this. All right, have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful weekend. Take care, be safe, and sending lots of love and light. Bye, everybody.